Hello students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I am Ashok Goyal from the Department of Physics and Astrophysics, University of Delhi. Today we are going to discuss about the module which involves using Mellin and Fourier transforms in solving integral equations from the paper Mathematical Physics. So students, let us see what we are going to learn in this module. Remember that in the previous module, we discussed the use of Laplace transform to solve certain types of integral equations. Here we will discuss the use of Mellin and Fourier transforms in solving integral equations, and then we will discuss some examples in mathematics and physics. Starting with solving integral equations by integral transforms, and I begin by introducing the Mellin transform and the use of Mellin transform to do that. Now, what is a Mellin transform? The Mellin transform fs of a function f of x integrable in the domain ranging from 0 to infinity is defined by f of s is equal to integral 0 to infinity dx x to the power s minus 1 f of x, and this is symbolically written as the Mellin transform of f of x. So, the Mellin transform of f of x is obtained by integrating the function f of x by the weight factor x to the power s minus 1 from 0 to infinity. Remember that the Laplace transform was obtained by integrating the function fx by exponential px over the entire range minus infinity to infinity. Now, this Mellin transform fs is defined by the integral above in the domain in which the real part of s lies between alpha and beta. Only in this domain does the integral exist. Like Laplace transform, this transform can be inverted too. The inverse Mellin transform is defined as f of x is obtained from f of s as f of x is equal to 1 upon 2 pi I integral over the imaginary line extending from c minus I infinity to c plus I infinity x to the power minus s fs ds, where the integral runs along the infinite straight line for c minus I infinity to c plus I infinity. This line is parallel to the imaginary axis with c real and the c lying between alpha and beta. Before we can start solving integral equations by integral transforms using Mellin transforms, we have just defined the Mellin transforms, but we need certain properties, just like we needed the property of the Laplace transforms to solve the integral equation using Laplace transforms. The properties of Mellin transforms that we need are a Mellin transform of a function of a times x, where a is a constant, is equal to a to the power minus s into the Mellin transform of the function f of x. Other property is that a Mellin transform of a function of x to the power alpha is equal to 1 upon alpha times the Mellin transform of s of alpha. Property number 3. The Mellin transform of a function of x multiplied by x to the power some number lambda is simply the Mellin transform f of s plus lambda. Number 4. The Mellin transform of an integral, which is what we need in solving the integral equation, of an integral from 0 to infinity over dx prime of a function f which is a function of x and x prime multiplied by another function g of x prime and multiplied by x prime to the power beta. So the Mellin transform of this integral is equal to f of s multiplied by g of 1 plus beta minus s, where what is f of s and what is f of g? F of s is simply the Mellin transform of f of x, and g of s is simply the Mellin transform of g of x. Finally, the property which we require is that the Mellin transform of integral 0 to infinity over dx prime, where the integrand is gx prime multiplied by a function f of x divided by x prime multiplied by x prime to the power beta. The Mellin transform of this integral is equal to f of s into g of 1 plus beta plus s, where f of s and capital G of s are simply the Mellin transforms of f of x and g of x respectively. Armed with these properties, we are now in a position to use the Mellin transform method for solving some integral equations which are of the type that the integral 0 to infinity of a function k of x and x prime multiplied by a function of x prime is equal to g of x. So our integral equation is given by 0 to infinity integral over dx prime of k x prime into f of x prime is equal to g of x, where gx is given and fx is the unknown function. Taking the Mellin transform of both sides, we get k of s multiplied by f of 1 minus s is equal to capital G of s, where k of s, f of s and g of s are respectively the Mellin transforms of k of x, f of x and g of x respectively. From this, we obtain f of s is equal to g of 1 minus s divided by k of 1 minus s. This is easily obtained from the equation 5.5 by defining s, a new s equal to 1 minus s. Let us call k 1 minus s as 1 upon some function h of s, and let us define the Mellin function of the Mellin transform of a function h of x as capital H of s. Then f of s is g of 1 minus s into capital H of s, because capital H of s is defined as 1 upon k into 1 minus s. And now, using the convolution property of Mellin transforms, we can take the inverse Mellin transform of this equation and we obtain f of x is equal to an integral 0 to infinity of h of x and t, g of t dt. Notice that we have solved the equation for fx because the function g and h are given. So all we have done to do is to integrate it. So the equation is solved. I give another example. Just as in the last example, the kernels k, which are function of variables x and x prime, are of the form that k is a function of, in fact, x divided by x prime. Then if you have a situation where k, a function of x and x prime, is a function of x divided by x prime, then such an equation can also be solved using Mellin transformation. Consider, for example, the equation integral 0 to infinity k of x by x prime multiplied by f of x prime dx prime is equal to gx, where gx and kx of x prime are known and fx is the unknown function for which we have to find the solution. Now, taking the Mellin transform of both sides as before, we get k of s multiplied by f of s is equal to g of s, where k of s, f of s and g of s are respectively the Mellin transforms of k of x, f of x, and g of x respectively. From this, the Mellin transform of our solution, which is f of x, Mellin transform of f of x is f of s. So from here, f of s can be written as g of s divided by k of s. We define ls as 1 upon ks. We write f of s is equal to g of s into L of s. Now taking the inverse Mellin transformation, then we immediately get the solution that f of x is equal to the integral 0 to infinity of the function L of x by x prime into g of x prime integrated over dx prime. Thus we have again obtained the solution in terms of the known functions g and L, which is related to k. Fourier transforms are defined as follows. So, and their use. So depending on the nature of the integral equation, the use of Fourier transforms may lead to a solution of the equation. Now before we can do that, we have to summarize some important aspects of the Fourier transform or important properties. Fourier transform f of k of a function fx is defined in the range x lying from between minus infinity to infinity, and the Fourier transform of f of x is defined as capital F of k is the integral over dx from minus infinity to infinity of the function fx by weighted by e to the power minus I kx. Because the Fourier transform is an integral over an infinite range, we must consider whether or not the integral converges. Sufficient conditions for the existence of the Fourier transforms are the Dirichlet conditions, that is, the Fourier transform exists if, number one, on any finite interval fx is bounded, that fx has at most a finite number of minima and maxima, and fx has at the most a finite number of discontinuities. The proof is straightforward. Consider the integral minus infinity to infinity of e to the power minus I kx dx multiplied by the integral minus infinity to infinity of du fu and a function g of x minus u. That is, consider a double integral over x and u, and we have two functions f of u and g of x minus u, which are multiplied by e to the power minus I kx. The domain of integration or the variables u and x are from minus infinity to infinity. This double integral can be written as minus infinity to infinity dx, then integral minus infinity to infinity du e to the power minus I kx into 1 upon 2 pi whole square minus infinity to infinity f k prime e to the power I k prime u dk prime and minus infinity to infinity integral gk double prime e to the power I k double prime x minus u dk prime. What it means, what we have done, the proof is straightforward. Consider the integral minus infinity to infinity of e to the power minus I kx dx multiplied by the integral minus infinity to infinity of du fu and a function g of x minus u. That is, consider a double integral over x and u, and we have two functions f of u and g of x minus u, which are multiplied by e to the power minus I kx. The domain of integration or the variables u and x are from minus infinity to infinity. This double integral can be written as minus infinity to infinity dx, then integral minus infinity to infinity du e to the power minus ikx into 1 upon 2 pi whole square minus infinity to infinity fk prime e to the power ik prime u dk prime and minus infinity to infinity integral gk double prime e to the power I k double prime x minus u dk prime. What it means, what we have done is to, in this double integral, to replace fu and g x minus u by the integral transforms, inverse integral transforms, in fact. So this integral is now can be written as is a three-dimensional integral over du, integral over k prime, integral over k double prime. The integral over u can be done easily because u occurs in exponentials. So you have exponential minus k prime u and exponential minus k double prime x minus u. So integral over u of this gives us nothing but a delta function k minus k double prime. So the original integral then is minus infinity to infinity dk prime, dk double prime, fk prime, gk double prime, delta k prime minus k double prime, delta k minus k double prime. Now the integral over k prime and k double prime can be done using the delta functions, and we get this integral equal to f of k into g of k. This is the convolution theorem which will be used for solving integral equations. I will now illustrate what we have discussed above by giving explicit examples. Consider the integral equation for the unknown function f of x, where the function h of x defined in the range minus infinity to infinity are given, and h of x and h of k is a Fourier transform of h of x, and if the Fourier transform exists, then if we consider the equation minus integral minus infinity to infinity dx prime fx prime divided by modulus of x minus x prime under root is equal to some other function h of x, then by taking the Fourier transform of both the sides, remember that first we'll have to calculate the Fourier transform of 1 upon x to the power half. The Fourier transform of 1 by x to the power half is given by the integral minus infinity to infinity dx 1 upon mod x to the power half e to the power ikx, which can now be broken into two integrals, one from minus infinity to 0 and from 0 to infinity, by noting that this integral minus infinity to infinity dx 1 upon mod x half e to the power minus ikx is equal to, when x is negative, the integral is from minus infinity to 0 dx e to the power minus ikx minus x to the power half, and when x is positive, plus 0 to infinity integral dx e to the power minus ikx x to the power half. Now these integrals can be easily evaluated, and we have first integral is under root pi by minus I mod k, plus the second integral is under root pi by I times mod k, which is equal to under root 2 pi by k. Hence, using the convolution property of Fourier transforms, the Fourier transform of h of x, capital H of k, is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root 2 pi by k mod into the Fourier transform of f of x, that is f of k, where hk and f of k are the Fourier transform respectively of hx and fx. Hence now, fx can be obtained as the inverse Fourier transform of f of k by noting that f of x is 1 upon 2 pi and integral from minus infinity to infinity over dk of e to the power I kx and f of k, which is equal to, substituting for f of k, is 1 upon 2 pi to the power 3 by 2 minus infinity to infinity dk e to the power minus I e to the power I kx multiplied by k into under root of k mod h of k. So we have now obtained the solution fx in terms of the integral where h of k is now known, being the Fourier transform of h of x. The h of k is known as 1 upon 2 pi into root 2 pi by k factor f of k. We consider another example where the integral equation we are required to solve is g of x is equal to integral from minus infinity to infinity of a function f of x prime multiplied by exponential minus modulus of x minus x prime. Here we have to solve for the unknown function f of x given the function gx. Since the limits of integration is from minus infinity to infinity, we can use the Fourier transform to solve this equation. Taking Fourier transform of both sides and using the fact that Fourier transform of e to the power minus x mod is equal to 2 upon s square plus 1, we get, by using the convolution theorem, the Fourier transform capital G S is equal to the Fourier transform capital F of s divided by s square plus 1, which we can write as f of s is equal to s square plus 1 by 2 g of s, where fs, gs are respectively the Fourier transforms of fx and gs. All that we require to find the solution is to invert the last equation. So we get, inverting the last equation, we get f of x is equal to g of x by 2 plus half of f inverse of s square gs, which is equal to g of x by 2 minus g double prime x of 2. Since the Fourier transform of g double prime of x, that is Fourier transform of the second derivative of g with respect to s, is equal to minus s square into the Fourier transform of the function g of x. That is Fourier transform of a function of the derivative of a function can be obtained from the Fourier transform of the function, in particular the Fourier transform of the second derivative of a function gx is equal to minus s square, the Fourier transform of the function g of x. The homogeneous version of the last equation that we considered can also be solved using Fourier transform, as we will see in the next example. Let us consider the equation now f of x is equal to g of x plus lambda integral minus infinity to infinity dx prime e to the power minus x prime mod into f of x prime. That is, in the earlier example, we consider the homogeneous integral equation. Now consider inhomogeneous equation by including a term g of x on the right hand side of the equation which we considered earlier. We have to solve this equation for the unknown function f of x given the function gx and given the fact that 1 minus 2 lambda lies between 0 and 1. As before, taking the Fourier transform of the both sides, we get capital F of s, which is the Fourier transform of f of x, is equal to capital G of s, which is the Fourier transform of g of x, plus 2 lambda divided by s square plus 1 capital F of s. So 2 lambda divided by s square plus 1 capital F of s is the Fourier transform, this integral. This we obtain f of s is equal to g of s divided by 1 minus 2 lambda upon s square plus 1. Now we substitute fs back into the last equation. So fs is equal to gs plus lambda into 2 upon s square plus 1 minus 2 lambda multiplied by capital G of s. So this we have obtained by substituting the value of fs in the equation 5.25. Now using the convolution theorem and the fact that the Fourier transform of exponential minus alpha mod x is equal to 1 upon alpha into 2 upon s square plus a square, we get f of x is equal to g of x plus lambda upon under root 1 minus 2 lambda integral minus infinity to infinity exponential minus under root of 1 minus 2 lambda x minus x prime mod gx prime dx prime. Now gx is a known function, so all we need is to evaluate this integral and we have the solution fx of our inhomogeneous integral equation. So students, let us summarize what we have learned in this module. We have learned that the Mellin transform fs of the function f of x integrable in the domain x lying between 0 to infinity is defined by f of s is equal to integral from 0 to infinity of the function fx multiplied by x to the power s minus 1 and is symbolically written as m of f of x. Defined by the integral above in the domain where the real part of s lies between alpha and beta for which the integral exists. The inverse Mellin transform is given by f of x is equal to 1 upon 2 pi I integral from c minus I infinity to c plus I infinity of capital F of s multiplied by x to the power minus s ds. So the integral runs along an infinite straight line from c minus I infinity to c plus I infinity. This line is parallel to the imaginary axis with c real and c lying between alpha and beta. The Fourier transform fk of a function fx is defined in the range for x lying between minus infinity to infinity, and the Fourier transform of fx is written as capital F of k, which is equal to minus infinity to infinity integral of fx with exponential minus I kx. The inverse Fourier transform likewise is given by f of x is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integral minus infinity to infinity f of k e to the plus I kx dk. Thank you.